Yes guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to episode number 37 of our EAFC 26 career mode here with Coventry City. And after an unbeaten last episode, obviously ending with that draw against Stoke City, we have entered the final few months of the season, and we do start this episode with a really tough game against second in the league, Wolverhampton Wanderers. We do start before that game with a message from Brow saying that he doesn't want to renew his contract unless his game improves, but if I'm being honest, it's probably not. Obviously we've got Jay Da Silva out there, we've got the other left back there as well, so it's unlikely that we are going to play him too much, so he is likely to be going to leave before or during the end of the season. But like I say, we start off this episode against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Really tough game away from home, as I say, second in the league. Wolves are obviously really good players, Premier League proven players. They've still got players like Hwang Hee-chan. They've still got players like Strand Larsen in there as well, so a really tough game for us. But it was us who got off to a better start of the two teams. It's Hadji Wright who picks up ball here, finds Mason Clark in some good space, and a really nice finish from Mason Clark, to be fair, low into that bottom corner to give us a 1-0 lead just 10 minutes into this game. Probably unexpected away from home at the Molineux, but we'll definitely take the 1-0 lead in this one. But we knew that we were going to come under pressure, and that did start pretty much straight away, to be fair, from Wolves. It's Hwang Hee-chan who does pick the ball up, he finds some space in the middle and makes absolutely no mistake with that finish. Straight down the side of the goalkeeper, and Hwang Hee-chan does get himself on the score sheet and gets Wolves back into this game. But just a couple minutes later, we did get another chance ourselves. This Rodoni picks ball up, plays onto his weaker right foot, but on his weaker right foot, not the great shot ever, straight down the throat of the goalkeeper, and the scores do stay at 1-1. And then just before half time, it was Wolves once again attacking down that left hand side. Doyle plays the ball across, decent shot from the attacker, but a good point blank save from Dovin. We did make a couple of changes. Eccles coming off for Paris Magoma in this one, as we do enter the second half of the game. And then from our free kick, it's Kitchen who plays it into Moonheim. Moonheim plays it out to the left. Our goal scorer Mason Clark, who picks the ball up back to the left back into Hadji Wright. He's got space in the middle of the park here. He's got Mason Clark in acres of space down that left hand side. Looks for players in the box, decides to play it short to Hadji Wright, beats the defender. Hadji Wright gets the ball into his right foot, but once again a good save from the Wolves goalkeeper to keep the scores level in this one. It's Mason Clark, the goal scorer, who's going to swing this one in, plays a good ball in. It's Kitchen who wins a header, but unfortunately just wide of the post and couldn't put that one in the back of the net. So the scores do stay at 1-1 going into the last 10 minutes or so of this one. But it's Mason Clark who plays the ball into Hadji Wright. Hadji Wright sees a player on the edge of the box, it eventually falls out to Grimes, and a good shot from Matt Grimes, but once again the goalkeeper does make a decent save. And then 5 minutes before the end, it's ourselves who are attacking the majority of the time here. Hadji Wright picks the ball up, finds Rodoni on the edge of the box in space, but unfortunately couldn't keep that one on target. Whistles wide of the post, and the scores do stay at 1-1. But against a decent Wolves team away from home, we'll definitely take that point there. But we do jump straight into the second game, and we are away from home once again in Wales, this time against FC Hollywood. We are against Wrexham. Again, we know it's going to be a difficult game. Wrexham got some decent players, but if we can get a draw against Wolves, there's no reason why we can't get all 3 points against Wrexham. Change the team up a little bit. Obviously we're coming into games where they're coming in thick and fast, obviously towards the end of the season, so we do make a couple of changes in there, but majority of the starting team is in there. Obviously we want to win this game, we want to keep pushing those playoff positions, and the only way of doing that is by playing our best players. But unfortunately it was Wrexham who got off to a better start. Hardy picks the ball up here into Okirk, and a good shot from him, but a good point blank save from Dovin in our goal to push that ball behind for a corner. And then we got our first chance of the game. Good ball down the right hand side, Sakamoto picks the ball up, a good ball into Hadji Wright, flicks it into Rodoni from point blank, but a really good save from Wrexham goalkeeper, complete reflex save from the Wrexham goalkeeper there, and the score stay at 0-0. But just a couple minutes later, it's Mason Clark, as always, who gets the chance, but unfortunately couldn't quite steer that ball in, and then Rodoni couldn't quite give a follow up, so the scores did stay at 0-0 once again. And then a couple minutes later, it's Matt Grimes who picks the ball up, beats his defender, gets the ball onto that left foot, but once again a good save from a goalkeeper, and pushes that one behind for a corner kick. No more action in the first half, but towards the end of the first half, Wrexham did get another decent chance, but another good save from a goalkeeper. So both goalkeepers on form in this one. And then just a minute or so later, Thomason picks the ball up, beats the first defender, sees the space open up in front of him, plays the ball across to Okirk, but unfortunately the defender did slide in as he made that pass, and we did give away a penalty. And it is Thomas who does give this one away. You'll see on the replay, the ball was just played across just as Thomas came in, and unfortunately Thomas did take the man, and there was no doubt about it, that was going to be a penalty kick. So it's Okirk who gets the chance to put Wrexham 1-0 in front just before half-time break, and he makes no mistake from that one, sending the goalkeeper the wrong way, and does give Wrexham the lead going into half-time. Decent penalty, to be fair, like I say, hard and low in the corner, and he does celebrate in front of the away fans, the Coventry fans, a little bit from him. But obviously just before half time, we do obviously look to try and get something back just before half time. It's Rodoni down this left hand side, he sees it on from Hadji Wright, Mason Clark's in there as well, picks him out, decent header from Mason Clark, couldn't quite get a power on it, and that does lead us into half time. So we are 1-0 down going into half time, and the start of the second half wasn't that eventful, to be fair. We are already 65 minutes into this one. It is Wrexham who get another chance, but once again a good save from Dovin to keep the scores at 1-0 to Wrexham. The corner's going to come in from Dobson, plays it in long, Kasase gets the header, but fortunately for us, Dovin, good reflexes to be fair, and just a little push wide of the post to keep the scores at 1-0. But then we started attacking 20 minutes before the end. It's Sakamoto down his right hand side, looks to beat his man, cuts inside on his left foot and whacks one into that top corner with his weaker left foot to bring the scores back level at 1-1. A really nice run from Sakamoto, confident to cut inside on that weaker left foot of his, and an absolutely unreal finish, to be fair, into that top corner, and those away fans are absolutely buzzing with that one. So now we've got 15 minutes or so left to try and win this one. The first chance comes to Haji Wright. Good ball across from Sakamoto once again, but Haji Wright couldn't quite get that one in, and the goalkeeper does manage to make the same, push it around the post, and that was going to be Haji Wright's last appearance in this game. He does come off at Ellis Sims. We do also bring Thomas Asante on for Mason Clark, and then from a resulting corner after that shot from Haji Wright, Rodoni swings it in. Kitchen nearly gets the initial header, but he does manage to get the second one and puts that one past goalkeeper, and in a matter of about 5 minutes we've turned this game around from 1-0 down to 2-1 in front, and it's the captain Liam Kitchen who does get that goal to give us that 2-1 lead, and hopefully we can hold out and see this one out for all 3 points. But Wrexham, they carried on obviously attacking. Brunt gets the ball here, decent shot from him but a good save from Dovin, and then just before, or just a minute or so later actually, Sakamoto, the man who scored our first goal, plays into Sims. Sims plays into Rodoni. Good header from Rodoni, to be fair, but a good save from a keeper once again. So the scores did stay at 2-1, and we did manage to take all 3 points from the north of Wales back to Coventry. And we did get a message from Bobby Thomas saying he's happy with his game time currently. Obviously he has been rotating a little bit with Charles, but obviously he's happy obviously with the games he's getting. Obviously he gave away a penalty in that last game, but he's been playing decent, to be fair, so we'll definitely keep him in the side for this game against West Brom. And like I say, obviously a good 3 points away from home against Wrexham, following on from that draw obviously against Wolves as well, and that gives us loads of confidence going back eventually to the CBS Arena, and we are hosting West Bromwich Albion, another team with some decent players, another team with a decent squad overall, but another team we should definitely look in to try and get something out of. Obviously I wouldn't say a local rivalry, but they're not too far away, if I'm being honest, both sort of Midlands based, and it's ourselves who get the first chance. Haji Wright picks ball up, flicks one in, it's Van Uvik who gets the header, with right back in that attacking role. Decent header from him, to be fair, but a good save from the keeper. And then just a couple minutes later, Rodoni picks ball up, looks to beat his man, plays into Mason Clark plays it back across, and Rodoni picks up the scraps and does steer that one in to give us a 1-0 lead just 20 minutes into this game. Jack Rodoni started that attack, obviously beating a couple of defenders, plays it into Mason Clark plays it back across, and it was an easy tap in for Jack Rodoni to give us that 1-0 lead. But we knew West Brom were going to come strong. Mikey Johnston with a really nice finish, to be fair, across the goalkeeper into that top corner to bring the scores level after 30 minutes, and just after that, or just after half time should I say, obviously went into half time break at 1-1, just after half time it was West Brom who got the best chance early on, with Valencia getting a good shot but just wide of the post from him. But we carried on getting our chances. We do get a chance here. Rodoni brings the ball, plays back to Wright, plays back to Grimes on the edge of the box, a really nice powerful shot from Grimes, did well to keep that one down, to be fair, but a good save from the goalkeeper. I mean, just a couple minutes later, it's a goal scorer from the last game, Sakamoto, plays it across to Mason Clark, got acres of space and a really good shot, to be fair, but unfortunately just hit just the wrong side of the post and does bounce back out into play. So the scores did stay at 1-1 going into the last 20 minutes or so, and it was West Brom who got the chance with a decent shot. But once again, we do give away a penalty. This time it's the other centre-back, the captain, Liam Kitchen, who does give this one away. Just slid in as the attacker took his shot. You'll see on the replay, the attacker took a shot, we slid in to try and block it, and unfortunately we just missed the ball, just caught the man, and West Brom do have a chance to go back in front in this game with 30 minutes left. It is going to be Josh Madger who steps up, looks to send the keeper the wrong way, he does exactly that and puts the ball into the back of the net to give West Brom the lead once again at 2-1. So we're going to have to come back from this one again. Obviously we've already come back from 1-0 down. We're going to have to come back from 2-1 down this time, and we haven't got too long to do that either. It's Hegbo who gets the ball here, plays in Josh Madger, the goal scorer, but fortunately just wide of the post, and keeps the scores at 2-1 with 10 minutes left. A few changes from us. We do decide to bring Latibodiere on for Van Uvik, and we do also bring Ellis Sims on, for Haji Wright. And hopefully Ellis Sims can power us to a point in this game, and it's Mason Clark who swings it in, and it is Ellis Sims straight away who gets involved in the action. Good header from him, but couldn't quite steer it on target, so the scores did stay at 2-1. But then just before half time, or just before full time should I say, Jack Rodoni wins the ball for a defender, plays into Ellis Sims, a really good chance but a fairly poor shot, to be fair, and Wild Smith does manage to keep hold of that one. So unfortunately we do end this game 2-1, and we do lose all 3 points in that one, so not brilliant for obviously our playoff credentials. but not the end of the world. Obviously, it was a decent performance. We didn't lose by 4 or 5 goals in that one, so we can definitely take some positives from it. And then we'll look into the future afterwards. You'll see some big names in here. You'll see some lesser known names in here. Obviously, we're still not sure, based on where we're going to end up at the end of the season, whether we will be a championship team, whether we will be in the playoffs and potentially promoted to the Premier League. So we've got a mix of players in here. We've got players like John Stones in there. We've got players like James Maddison, who obviously if we go to the Premier League, they will be options, but obviously if we stay in the Championship, probably not options. So there's a real mix in there, but they're just players we are currently looking at. Looking mainly for a left back, possibly a central defensive midfielder, and possibly a winger as well, regardless of what division we're in. They're the sort of 3 main key areas we're looking at going forward, and possibly a goalkeeper, not a first choice goalkeeper, but mainly a substitute / reserve goalkeeper as well. So they're the main positions we're looking at, regardless of what league we're in, and obviously the league we're in will depend on the calibre of players we're able to look at and potentially get. But before we ever reach the summer transfer window, we do take on the final game of this episode, and we are at home once again, and it is against the Blues Portsmouth, and it is ourselves. We do get an early lead in this one. Jack Rodoni, nice controlled finish into that bottom corner, to be fair, to give us one lead. He's been on great form recently, to be fair, Jack Rodoni. But Portsmouth came back a decent chance, but just wide of a post from their attacker, and then they've got another chance here. It's Murphy who picks the ball up, beats his defender, beats a couple of defenders, ricochets the ball around, but eventually falls back to Murphy, gets a little chip over Dovin after teeing off his line, but fortunately just goes wide of the post, and the scores do stay at 1-0. And not much going on in this first half. We do just before half time, Sakamoto plays ball across, it falls out eventually to Matt Grimes. He's had a few opportunities from range recently, and that's probably the closest he's come, just hitting the top of the crossbar and it flying over. So we do just before half time have to keep defending, and we do just that. A good save from Dovin there from the attacker to keep the scores at 1-0. And then all we need to do now is just defend this corner. The ball's going to come in. It is Ogilvie who gets the header. Decent header from him, to be fair. We do get the clearance in, but unfortunately it does go straight back to Williams. Straight back to Ogilvie. Plays it into Noah Lang. Lang plays it into Hoy. Hoy's got space. He beats his man. A good shot from him, but a good save from Dovin once again. It falls eventually back to Hoy, but Dovin's there once again. Gets up well, gets down well, and makes the save. So we do go into half time with that lead at 1-0. We knew it was tight. We knew Portsmouth were playing well, and we knew we needed to get another chance. Charles gets a good shot there with a header, but unfortunately couldn't quite get it on target. And then just a couple of minutes later, Portsmouth play the long ball up, eventually falls back to Rodoni. Rodoni plays it into Mason Clark, obviously the top scorer for us this season. He gets an opening, no player closes him down, and a nice control finish low underneath the goalkeeper, and he does give us a little bit of breathing room with 50 minutes gone in this game, and Ephraim Mason Clark does get his name on the score sheet, and we have now got a 2-0 lead. But we knew Portsmouth were going to come to us. We knew that they were also going to keep attacking. It's Murphy once again who picks the ball up, a good shot from him once again, but a good save from Dovin. And then Portsmouth once again, Hoy this time gets the ball. Dovin's off his line a little bit, makes the first save, but unfortunately Hoy was with the quickest reactions, does manage to get a foot to it after the initial save, and does put it in the back of the net to give it a little bit of tension going into this last half an hour or so at 2-1. And it's Murphy who's really pulling the strings for Portsmouth in this game. Luckily Dovin does manage to dive in this one, but a really poor clearance, to be fair, from Dovin. It falls eventually to Hoy, plays into the attacker, good shot, but a good save once again from Dovin, so he made up for his mistake there. And then just 15 minutes before the end, Hoy gets the chance, and Hoy is going to make no mistake from that. He's had a few decent chances in this game, but he does manage to get his name on the score sheet, fires it past Dovin, and does get Portsmouth level in this one. A few more changes. Rossier and Haji Wright both coming on for Sims and Sakamoto. Rossier actually going on in right back in this one, and Van Uvik going on in right mid, but unfortunately that was going to be the end of the game. Rossier happy with his brief substitute appearance, but we did unfortunately end that one with that draw against Portsmouth, which was disappointing. But it does leave us in 9th position, 66 points, and you can see that playoff position, that final playoff position, is 67 points in 6th. 5 games left, so a couple of tough games as well, especially the next game, top of the league, Southampton. But it's tight in that playoff zone. We'll see what happens, so make sure you stick around to watch the next one. But that's going to bring this episode to an end. As always, take care of yourselves. Make sure you subscribe to follow the journey. Make sure you do like the video if you have made it this far, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye bye.